In a city etched from brick and shadow, a line stretched beyond the horizon, a serpent of silhouettes against the urban sprawl. Each figure, a stark black stickman, stood in silent testament to an unknown promise, their forms blurring into a singular unending queue that snaked through the desolate streets. The buildings, tall and impassive, watched over them like ancient sentinels, their windows dark eyes in weathered brick faces. This was the world as John knew it, a world defined by the single, relentless act of waiting. He stood among the countless others, a solitary figure lost in the collective patience, his simple form conveying a profound weariness. His head was bowed, not in prayer but in resignation. The air was thick with an unspoken question, a silent hum of anticipation that had long since lost its edge, worn down by the sheer grinding weight of the wait itself. From a closer perspective we see John, his stick-like frame slumped with a fatigue that seemed to seep into his very essence. His circular head, featureless save for two simple dots for eyes, was tilted downward. Those eyes, however, held a universe of emotion. They were somber pools of exhaustion, reflecting the gray sky above and the gray existence around him. He had been in this line for as long as he could remember, a fixture in a static landscape. The hope that had once fueled him had dwindled to a faint ember, barely perceptible against the backdrop of his profound tiredness. He shifted his weight from one leg to the other, a minuscule movement in a world of stillness, the only proof that he was still present, still enduring. The man in front, the woman behind, they were all the same, mirrors of his own somber reflection. Time in this place was not measured in seconds or hours, but in the slow, agonizing shuffle of feet. A montage captures this glacial progression, a symphony of subtle changes against a constant of waiting. The sun, a brilliant orange disk, bled across the sky before sinking below the rooftops, plunging the city into a deep, inky blackness punctuated by the distant glow of unseen lights. Then, just as slowly, the dawn would break, painting the brick facades in soft hues of pink and gold, heralding another day of the same. Seasons bled into one another. A delicate snowflake would land on John's shoulder, then melt away as a green leaf sprouted from a crack in the pavement. Rain slicked the streets, reflecting the endless line back upon itself, a shimmering, distorted duplicate of their reality. Through it all, the line crept forward, an inch, a foot, a lifetime at a time. After an eternity condensed into an indistinguishable passage of days and nights, John found himself at the precipice. The line was no longer in front of him. It was a vast, sprawling entity behind him. He stood alone, facing a single, unadorned wooden door set into a brick wall. This was it, the culmination of his journey, the final rank. His posture straightened, a flicker of the old hope reigniting in his chest, a stark contrast to the bone-deep exhaustion that had become his constant companion. His gaze was fixed on the door, a mix of trepidation and yearning. What lay beyond? Was it a reward? An answer? Or simply another beginning? The anticipation was a physical thing, a knot in his stomach, a thrumming in his simple frame. He had imagined this moment 1,000 times, and now that it was here, it felt both surreal and terrifyingly real. With a low, mournful creak that seemed to echo the groans of the waiting masses behind him, the door began to swing inward. It opened not to a grand hall or a divine light, but to a simple room, bathed in a soft, gentle glow. The light was warm, inviting, a stark contrast to the harsh, indifferent light of the city street. It promised peace, an end to the striving, a quiet conclusion. There were no ornate furnishings, no judging figures, just a space of tranquil, luminous emptiness. It was the antithesis of the line. It was stillness. It was arrival. The soft light spilled onto the pavement at John's feet, a golden path leading away from the world he had always known. John hesitated for a final, poignant moment. He turned his head, casting one last look back at the endless chain of humanity stretching into the distance. He saw himself in every one of them, the weariness, the faint, flickering hope, the shared burden of the weight. A silent acknowledgement passed between him and the figure now at the front. Then, with a quiet resolve, he turned back to the light. He took a single, deliberate step, crossing the threshold from the world of waiting into the world of arrival. The heavy wooden door swung shut behind him, the final click of the latch echoing in the sudden silence. The camera holds on the closed door, now just another part of the brick wall, a silent, inscrutable monument to a journey's end. Behind it, the line continues to wait.